Hello and welcome to the Beef Edge, the Teagasc Beef Podcast, for all your latest news, information and advice for Irish beef farmers. I'm Catherine Egan, and on this week's episode, I'm joined by Niall Claffey, Irish Grassland Association beef chairperson, and Suckler farmer James Madigan from County Kilkenny to discuss how he is managing grass on his farm, and he is hosting this year's Irish Grassland Association Beef Farm Walk. James and Niall, you're both very welcome. James, you've had a busy few weeks harvesting silage.
Yeah, we had a very busy few weeks here in Kilkenny. We started harvesting silage on the 12th of May, Catherine, and we harvested 37 acres of first cut, and we yielded about 7.5 bales to the acre. Quality, I'd say, is excellent. We'll test it as soon as we can, but quality is excellent, and we harvested the rest of the first cut then on the 26th of May. Which was last week. We got about 8 bales to the acre off that. In total, we have 450 bales plus 300 bales left over from last year, and our target is 900 bales, and we're happy with that so far. Slurry has gone back out on the first 37 acres, and we'll put a couple of bags of Sulcan on it this week, and with that'll set us up nicely for an earlier second cut then.
That's great, James. And I suppose the earlier cut, the 12th of May, what will you be targeting feeding that silage to?
That'll be for all finishing stock, mainly bulls. I expect this to be up in the high 70s, I'd say, which is needed for finishing bulls. We wouldn't be ad-libbing meal, so if you're having that quality silage, you'd be on the back foot. The later cuts then will be fed to cows and store cattle then.
And the fact that you're split spring and autumn calving, how are you managing both herds at the moment?
Well, the autumn herd the bulls are running with their mothers separate from the heifers, two different groups, and they're grazed in 7 divides of 7 paddocks each, and the spring herd then are all the cows are grazed together in the one group, and the bull is running with them now. So they have 14 paddocks. We ran a new system this year. We graze store bulls as well. They're 14, 15 months old now. We just graze them ahead of the spring cows. And we don't try and graze out paddocks, which might find, especially in poor weather conditions, the bull is getting very uneasy and doing damage and that. So we just let them around and clip the grass in front of the spring cows and keep them a couple of paddocks away from, and then we just move in with the cows to clear off the paddocks whenever is appropriate.
And how are you fixed for grass at the moment? Have you enough, or are you running short?
No, we have an abundance of grass at the moment. We actually took out a paddock last week, and we took out 5 acres for reseeding, which is very unusual for us this time of the year because we have a serious demand for grass early in the year, and so we don't normally do reseeding till August, and I wouldn't normally have paddocks taken out either. But after a tough month of April, things exploded when very minute the rain came in early May. We had a massive amount of growth in the last few weeks. So we have an abundance of grass at the moment. The only thing we're watching here now at the moment is we like rain here fairly regularly, and it seems to be it's drying fast. Ground is drying fast, and the growth will slow down. But on the other side of that, demand for grass is going to drop here in 2 weeks now when we wean the cows, and there'll be lots of 40 bulls, I suppose, to be housed, and all the cows will be housed for 2 to 3 weeks to dry them up. So it'll take the pressure for grass too, so it mightn't be all bad either,
And once the bulls go in, are they kept in until they're finished, or what's the plan with the bulls?
Yeah, the 15, 16-month-old bulls will come in with the autumn-born bulls when they're weaned, and we have some bulls bought at the moment as well, ready to come on farm, and they'll all be more or less housed together. And later, the autumn-born bulls now, at under 480 kilos, will go back out to grass, and they'll come back in. We'll weigh them every month, and they'll come back in accordingly then. And the bulls that go back out to grass will introduce meal to them then.
And how much meal will they be getting at grass?
Roughly 2 kilos, yeah.
And for the bulls that you had sold recently, how did they perform?
Very happy with them. We started feeding them a month sooner. We joined a new scheme, a sustainability scheme with our local factory, and we killed them a little bit later. So we had to start feeding them earlier, and we killed them in a couple of batches there in April. 395 kilo carcass. They came into 2022 in money, and they were 14 and a half months. So we were delighted with them really, and it worked. They just killed a little bit later as well, so it worked out well now.
And for the bulls that you're going to be housing, what's your plan? How soon do you expect them to be finished, and how will you manage them over the weeks ahead?
The autumn-born bulls now are not weighed. The autumn weanlings were our BPS weight there at our 200-day weight was 294 kilos. That was bulls and heifers at a weighing efficiency of 46%. We'll weigh them now at weaning in about 2 weeks' time. I suspect that most of them will be left in the shed. I'd say, looking at their weights in the field now, there's some very good bulls around, say 450, 60 kilos. We'll build up meal over a month to them, then up to 8 kilos plus good silage, and there's a 128-day finishing period, including the build-up period. So all of them will be slaughtered in October.
James, you mentioned earlier you're doing some reseeding on the farm, and you've done some reseeding earlier this spring. How did that go?
Yeah, we are emphasising on clover now. We big decisions have to be made. I think fertiliser is a huge problem, and it's looking like in the medium term is going to be the new norm. I'd say for the medium term anyway, if not long term. So we're hitting with red clover and white clover. We done 5 acres. It's to sowed on the 23rd of April. The big disc, 3 runs of the big disc, and sowed it with 1 pass at a rate of 1.2 bags to the acre. And there's 2 kilos of red clover and 2 kilos of white clover in the mix, and that works out about 5 kilos of clover to the acre. And we have our good ryegrasses, then Abergain and Aberchais, and they're there in the background as well, which is two great varieties. We sprayed it on the 28th of May. I got a post-emergence spray, so I expect to be grazing it in 2 weeks. It's looking very good. There's a lot of clover in it now. But it's looking good at the moment, and hopefully it'll work out well.
And what group of stock do you plan on grazing on that reseed over the coming weeks?
It'll be the spring calving cows. Will be put on that now. Look at it. If it's dry, it'll be okay. If you had wetter weather, you probably want lighter stock, but they seem to be the most suitable stock at the moment for me here on this farm anyway. So it'll be the spring cows then.
How will those paddocks be managed in the coming weeks, and what height would you be targeting to graze at?
Yeah, look, sure. I wouldn't be a huge fan of very high covers. I like to have them around 1,000, say 8 centimeters, and graze them down to 4 centimeters then, and we'll give it a run of the mower then after, just to clean it off. We'd have no issue, I say, with covers. I'd say as long as we get a bit of rain and that, but we'll have to watch it as we go along, you know.
James, you're hosting the Irish Grassland Association Beef Walk next week on the 14th of June. Yeah.
We were approached by the Irish Grassland Association team there, and we're honoured actually to host the walk. It's great for the family here, especially the kids. There's great excitement around the place, and we're delighted with it now. So yeah.
Thanks, James. And Niall, I suppose this is the first farm beef event hosted by the Irish Grassland Association since COVID. What can farmers expect to see on the day?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Catherine. Yeah, look, we're looking forward to getting back out on farm after 2 years of virtual events because of COVID. Look, there's going to be something for everyone on June 14th. Jimmy he's a Suckler farmer. He's finishing under 16 mint bulls. He's an autumn and spring calving herd. He's breeding and purchasing replacement heifers. He's using AI. And he's finishing the surplus heifers at 19, 20 months. He's a good grassland manager. He's making top quality silage. He has the right genetics and a good management plan in place. So look, we'll be given a complete introduction and an overview of the farm. and looking at the financial performance and the performance of the animals. And we're also going to have James Humphreys from Teagasc, the head researcher in Solihull, and he'll be giving a talk on clover, the sowing of clover, the establishment of clover, and I suppose the post sowing and grazing management of clover, and that'll be done in James's recently reseeded fields. And then we'll also have Phil O'Neill from the Irish Farmers Journal, and he'll be giving a talk on, I suppose, the beef market outlook, and also the other commodities such as meal and fertilizer, and I suppose an insight maybe into the short, medium, and long-term outlook for those commodities.
That's great, Niall. It sounds like a great selection of speakers and a great farm to host the event. Do farmers need to register to attend, Niall, or how do they go about attending?
No, Catherine, so we're kind of changing tactics this year. We're going with an evening time event, maybe to suit the part-time farmer. It's a completely free event. You don't need to register, you can just show up. And we'll also be offering a free burger and some refreshments before the farm walk kicks off at 6:30 or at 7:15. So look, we'd encourage everyone to get down. It should be a great day.
And where can listeners get more details?
Yeah, so look, we've loads of information on our social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also there's an overview of the event on the Irish Grassland website. So anyone looking for information, they'll be able to find some there.
The best of luck, James and Niall, for the farm walk next week on Tuesday, the 14th of June.
Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine.
That's all for this week's episode, and my thanks to James and Niall for joining me on the show. You can catch up on all other shows and interviews from the Beef Edge podcast on the Teagasc website at teagasc.ie, or you can listen on Apple and Google Podcasts as well as Spotify. Don't forget to rate, review and subscribe so you never miss a show. For all other updates from our beef programme, keep an eye on our Twitter and Facebook pages. Until next time, I'm Catherine Egan, and thanks for listening.